All righty, let's go to more questions from the audience. There's a young woman in the middle of the front row there.
Hi, for those who believe it might be an inside job, leading from the other lady's question, what would the Taliban and Al-Qaeda have to gain by saying it was them that did it?
All right, let's put that to Annie Machin. Why? What would be in it for the Taliban?
I don't think the Taliban ever did say they did it. In fact, they did offer to hand over Osama bin Laden to the authorities in America if America could present solid evidence that he was implicated in the attacks. Now, America can't. If you go to the FBI website, they have a whole list of terrorist atrocities that Osama bin Laden was wanted for.
But have I not seen video messages from Osama bin Laden down the years?
They are primarily...
Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda have issued several statements saying, yes, we did it, and glorifying in the murder. I was talking about the Taliban. They had nothing whatsoever to do with it. They offered to hand over bin Laden if evidence was presented. There was no evidence. There is still no evidence presented on the FBI website. What the Taliban said they were going to do, I think, is just what they said they were going to do. There was no evidence that they were really going to hand him over.
Look at the FBI we certainly didn't get him the other way by invading the place and killing hundreds of thousands of people, did we? No. Maybe we should have given the Taliban a little bit longer to hand him over, and maybe Bush invaded just because they didn't want him handed over, because too much dirt would come out.
I thought Bush invaded because he wanted to secure a gas pipeline across Afghanistan.
Bush is not capable of having a guy shot while trying to escape?
So you would have him go around murdering people? Just
no,
not
I'm
Americans.
not saying that. I'm just saying the suggestion that Bush invaded in order to keep. I mean, you know, come on.
I think they want. That was. I'm sure that was an element in it.
If you knew where bin Laden was and the only thing you could do would be to bomb him, what would you do?
I wouldn't.
You couldn't extract him. You couldn't arrest him.
He's a valuable witness. Once you've killed the.
You can't get in there. He's 50 foot under a cave. What are you going to do?
Your bombs won't reach him either.
Well, blast it. You put something down there. What are you going to do?
The points I'm making, though, Nick, is that when you ask hypothetical questions...
You can't extract him. What are you going to do?
When you ask hypothetical questions...
Well,
the Taliban were going to hand him over. They were going to hand him over.
Well, they said
the Taliban didn't like bin Laden.
I bet you they wouldn't.
No, well, you can bet as you like, Nick, but the fact is that Osama bin Laden was, in my judgment, this is only a guess, based on the evidence that's publicly available, he was sent to Afghanistan as a poison pill by the CIA for the Taliban to swallow. He worked very effectively like that, and he's just basically a tool of the CIA.
What, even now?
Even now, yeah. In fact, we just saw in The Independent Al-Qaeda appear in Lebanon, and what did we see leaked by Seymour Hersh from the New Yorker, from straight out of the Pentagon? Pentagon plans to increase Sunni radical activity in Lebanon. 6 months earlier, 6 months after that, Al-Qaeda turn up.
Annie, you wanted to get involved in the Osama bin Laden
Well,
question.
the idea is assassination ever justified, which is effectively what you're asking, and I would say absolutely not. Because as soon as you start...
How are we going to get him out there?
As soon as you start
Every Marine who goes into the cave is going to get shot dead. What do we do?
Well, manifestly not with the bunker busters. I think they probably did more damage than they suffered. But as soon as you take away the basic human rights, the basic principles of human rights that were put in place to stop atrocities after the Second World War, then we descend to their level. We cannot then take the moral high ground. The only way we can deal with people like Osama bin Laden or other evil dictators or war criminals is to put them in front of a court in The Hague, show the evidence of their crimes and punish them according to the law. Otherwise, we are going to descend into violence and anarchy, and it'll be an ever-decreasing circle, and it's going to be an eye for an eye until all the world's blind.
Annie, let's go back to one more question. Adil Riaz. Adil?
Yes. My question is, why do 9/11 conspiracy theories not get much coverage in the media?
We did sort of start to get to that. Let's stay with Annie. Why? Is there not enough coverage?
It's an interesting one. I mean, there is a lot of intelligence control of the media, and it's something that I've actually seen firsthand.
Am I controlled?
There are... I would hope not. You've had me on your show. No, there are sections within the intelligence agencies, not just in this country but across the world, which are directly there to control stories, false stories that go into the media.
They're not doing a very good job, are they?
They do a very good job. Look what took us into the war in Iraq.
Why are we having this conversation then?
45 minutes from doom is what got the MPs to vote to take us into Iraq. That was now, that's been proved to be a lie. There is a section in MI6 called IOPS, Information Operations, which is there specifically to plant stories and to spin stories. It's worse than what the Labour spin.
Wendy Grossman, are we all controlled by the government or spooks?
Well, I've written for 3 of Britain's national papers, and if they're controlling me, they're not telling me about it.
Yeah, I'm a freelance journalist too, and I write about all sorts of things and never have any difficulties at all. I mean, I think the answer to the question is that there's not enough substance to all these conspiracy theories for mainstream journalists to write a piece that makes any sense.
And yet Time magazine says that the phenomenon of a conspiracy is now a political reality.
Oh, conspiracy
so that's a
theories as a sort of sociological reality, yeah, absolutely. And I think the internet has played a huge part in all this 9/11 conspiracy theory.
And we're going to come back to those theories in just a second because we have to take a short break now. We're back in a few moments for more of the topical discussion.